Alright, Chapter 4, a look at the files and floppy disks. The computer's memory, the temporary storage cleared each time they turn off the computer. The only way you can save the data permanently is to store it in a file on disk. When MS-DOS needs data, it is stored in a file. It reads the data from the disk into the memory chamber. The data will want to keep the changed version. You must store the revised version on disk before turning off the system. Type of files in general contain the program data, the program set for the instruction for the computer, the data, the text and number set for the proposal for the project proposal, the table, the tax rates, list of customers the program needs to work, the two types of the file for the important for the work with the test file, for the command file, for the quite with the different, with important to look more closely with the kind of information these files contain and how these files are used. Text files. Text files are data files that contain characters you can read with the everyday letters numbered and symbol the process of the program. Store with the document with the text file. So with the MS-DOS editor. Many files you in your work with the computer and all the files you will create with you within this book are text files. Definition of text files may seem self-evident at first, but actually introduce you with an important character for the computer. Information stores. The computer keeps information two very different forms. One is text characters contained in text files. The other is machine-readable code. The looks meaningless to most people, but is quite meaningful. The computer's command files. Command files contain instructions for the MS-DOS needed to carry out with the command MS-DOS command file that can read programs such as diskcopy.com or as so the chapter of the 14 create your own commands. You consider the commands that you put together for the perform status, specific tasks and stored files. Not all MS-DOS commands are stored with separate command files. However, some of the commands for the directory command are built into the main body of the MS-DOS. When you load the MS-DOS into the memory, you load the commands with it. You want to use these commands with the MS-DOS to have them tap them immediately. If you do not look up the separate command file, carry them out. These built-in commands are called permanent or internal commands. In contrast, command with a command where they are requested by the help of the temporary external commands. Your permanent command, you simply request the command. MS-DOS carries it out. You can use the temporary command with the MS-DOS must load the command file from the disk and memory before it can carry out the command. Application programs such as a word processor also store with the command file. It also stores your work and such documents and data files. How files are named. No matter type of the file, each file must have the file name. Recall that the file name can be up to 8 characters long. You can also have almost any character on the keyboard. When you name another file with a good idea, they give your file name such as the budget or sales rep, sales RPT to describe your contents. Attempt for the more complex with the 3 characters. Suffix involved with the file extension can be added to the file name. Suffix separated with the file name by a period so that MS-DOS tells you apart. Each of the file of the disk must either the different name of the different extension. Report January, report February, for example. The different files do the MS-DOS even though the files' names are the same. Specifying the drive. When you name a file with the command MS-DOS need to know what drive it contains with the disk file on it. If it does not specify with the drive, MS-DOS looks for the disk of the current drive with the drive letter shown with the system prompt. If the disk containing the file is not in the current drive, they proceed with the file name of the letter drive with a colon. For example, to specify with the B drive report document, MS-DOS looks for the disk of the drive B. Preparing for example, the following pages show the number of the examples to help you become comfortable with the flip files and floppy disks. MS-DOS, most other computer programs do is often the easiest, most effective way to learn. If you have a hard disk, make sure that the latch for the drive A is open with the turn on, start with the computer, go through with the startup routine until you start with the prompt, the C drive or C drive DOS. If the MS-DOS shell automatically starts up and instructs them here on, assuming that press F3 to leave the shell, you'll be working with the file with the DOS subdirectory. So change it necessary by using C drive dash CD and then DOS. Go on to the next heading. If your system does not have a hard disk, start with a restart of the computer. Go through the startup routine until the risk to the A drive prompt. For example, several external MS-DOS commands begin with a disk copy command. Use the directory command to check out the MS-DOS floppy disk with a file with a start with a floppy disk to contain with a disk copy command with a drive A with the directory command with the MS-DOS respond with a bad command or file name because this cannot find with the command file needed with a particular example. Don't worry about memorizing. Usually several commands for the chapter, but you need to remember exactly how to use them. Each one on the commands that describe more detailed remaining chapters of the book for the purpose of the chapter is to introduce your files and floppy disks. Qualifying command. Up till now, most of the commands you enter consist of a single word or abbreviations of the time or directory. The Mac commands, however, and you add one or more qualifiers to make action more specific. The qualifiers are parameters. Some commands require parameters, others allow you to add parameters if you want, but the directory command, for example, that does not require parameters, lets you view the tab of the command specification with the name of the particular file you want to see. You'll use some parameters of the following example, the description command. Later chapters show the command parameters both required and optional. Displaying specific directory entry for the previous chapter, you use the directory command to display with the directory entry for the file with the DOS subdirectory on your startup disk. You can display with the directory entry for the single file with the directory entry for the sub of the files by adding a parameter to the directory command. Displaying directory with a single file with the display of the directory entry specific file. You simply type with the file name and if the extension there is one after the command name with the example the command copy for the content of the floppy disk and with another copy. It's called disk copy. Its command file will be disk copy command to display with the directory entry for the disk copy command type of the following command. If you're not using the hard disk, floppy disk with the disk copy command should be in drive A. Remember that your system is prompted A drive, not C drive. C drive directly disk copy command. MS-DOS display with the directory entry for the file with the specified. Do not worry if you see with the different versions, different size, date, or time. Volume drive, C drive, from serial directory, DOS, disk copy command. They give the name of the file and the bytes and the CDOS. If the file name isn't on the disk, if you don't have the type of the file name exactly as it's stored, MS-DOS responds file not found. Display with the directory entry for the set of the files. What if you remember most of the file name and the file name, but not the extension? MS-DOS helps you when they give it the two wildcard characters on the asterisk, star, and a question mark. They can substitute for the actual character of the file name, like wildcards in poker. The wildcard characters can represent any other character, but they only that the question mark can substitute for one character, whereas asterisk can substitute for more than one character. So suppose you remember only the file names beginning with the letter F, then it takes only a moment to check the files beginning with F. Use MS-DOS directory for example the following type: the C drive directory F, the MS-DOS display with the directory entries, all file names beginning with F. This volume serial number, the driver, disk DOS, the format, and then show the files found with F. CDOS. This shows the name of the MS-DOS file with the beginning with the F. If you use the MS-DOS floppy disk, you like this might be different, but you should be able to format command or format execute wildcard. Characters can simply task keeping of the track of the file. Chapter F, the managing your files, includes several examples of the wildcard characters. Note it's time to stop practicing and create some files of your own. Preparing a floppy disk for you for the MS-DOS control of the file on new floppy disk. Must prepare the floppy disk for you for the preparation. MS-DOS write with certain information with its own with the floppy disk called formatting. Tell the MS-DOS to do with the formatting of the format command. You need two formatted floppy disks, for example. In the book now is a good time for them format them. So go on with the blank floppy disk with the two blank labels before proceeding with the floppy disk have been formatted already. That really need not to be formatted again. But go ahead and practice formatting floppy disks, and you'll most likely have the format sometime. Type of the following format: CDOS format, B drive command, MS-DOS format, floppy disk, B drive. Formatting a floppy disk effectively delete any of the files may be stored with the MS-DOS to give you the chance to make sure that you have the wrong floppy disk. Specify with the drive displaying with the message. I'm waiting for the typing something. Insert the new diskette with the drivers to be and press enter when ready. If you discover the problem with the wrong floppy disk, no problem. Just take out the wrong one, put the right one in before you press enter. But if you cannot find the floppy disk in the format you want to write to cancel the command, no problem. Again, don't turn off the system. Just control break. But you do want the floppy disk now. If you have one floppy disk drive, place the blank floppy disk in drive A with the close with the drive last necessary. If you have the two floppy disks with the drive, place the blank floppy disk in drive B, then close the hatch, press enter. If you have the version 5 of the later MS-DOS beginnings with the display one or more messages telling you the tracking the disk. See whether previously formatted after step of the MS-DOS display with a constantly changing message that shows the progress of the formatting, checking existing disk format, saving unformatted information version and format 8% complete. Version 4 would be MS-DOS tells you for the X% with the formatted with an earlier version with a message of the might likely look like this. It might be similar reading format. In any case, the light with the drive goes on with the MS-DOS begin with the writing of the floppy disk. The MS-DOS finish and tells you with the format to complete. If you have version 4 or later, the display of the message volume 4, 11 characters, enter for none. and then underscore the volume label is not name. You give it the format desk to help with identify with the files contained with the name of up to 11 characters, including the blank, but cannot include the certain character for the MS app. Reserves special use for the characters such as period, use of the trim of the file name and extension, asterisk for the question mark, use of the wildcard characters, /, using type and command parameters. If you don't have the sign of the volume label of the disk, because of the MS-DOS display of the volume, beginning with a directory listing with a pound record for the few seconds of the spam of the thinking of the type of the volume label with the format fly with the disk can long run save you time by helping identify what the disk contained with the if you don't have version 4 later you can assign the volume label after formatting the /v parameter for the format command. You find out about this in chapter 6 managing your floppy disk, and MS-DOS requires volume label assisting one over the disk. Use formatted type with a simple with a description of the name, such as with the volume label 11 characters. Enter for non-example question mark example 1 and press enter. MS-DOS then displays some of the information floppy disk file while the following message show the bytes total available on disk. Bytes each allocation is unit of the disk, volume, serial number, format, and other. Question X or yes or no. Numbers shown in 1.44 megabytes of floppy disk, depending on the type of the floppy disk you drive with the version. MS-DOS/UV for the total disk space for the reporting might differ from 1,213,958 and 958 to 730,112 with the message about allocation unit with the volume serial number to provide with the MS-DOS given with the version 4. Allocation unit with the group by with the U of the MS-DOS with the storing information variable serial number that is assigned with the part with the formatting perceived with neither likely significant with the day-to-day use of the MS-DOS. Final message for format another yes or no me with the MS-DOS now waiting for the save of the alright. The final message format yes or no means the MS-DOS is now waiting for you to save whether you want the format another floppy disk, type yes. If the press enter with the message asks you to put in floppy disk in the drive B, press enter with the repeated go through the same drive with the format and second floppy disk name with example 2. When MS-DOS finishes, you will want to format another type at the end. Press enter for the MS-DOS display with the system prompt C-DOS telling you the format command is complete with the MS-DOS. We're waiting for the type of the command. If you now have the two formatted floppy disk, time to put one of them in for the creating of the file. With the remove the floppy disk you formatted, put in with the floppy disk drive B. If you have two floppy disk drives. Creating a text file. Easy way to create a text file by using the MS-DOS copy command. Although with the right guess for the name of the copy command, it can be used to copy a file, but also maybe use the copy character of the keyboard into the file. MS-DOS refer to the parts of the computer, such for the keyboard with the display with the printer device with the MS-DOS. Like files have names. For example, the keyboard knows that MS-DOS has CON or for console. You're going to create with a file with the MS-DOS account with the type of the keyboard with the blank floppy disk for the disk drive B. Create with the file name with a note with a document with a floppy disk for the drive B. Type with the following example each line with a pressing enter for the when you see the blank line enter for the MS-DOS to the insert for the extra line. You have C-DOS copy with the control to B drive note docs January 5th, 1995. Dear Fred, just a note to remind you that your meeting is at 9, Jack. The end of the file will tell the MS-DOS for the end of the life with the Control Z. Hold down with the Control key, press Z, then press Enter for the and when you press Control Z, MS-DOS displays an upward arrow Z with an upward arrow representing the Control key after the Enter for the MS-DOS acknowledge that it is copied. A file, one file copied. C-DOS to verify the display with the directory over the floppy disk drive B, C drive, DOS directory /B drive, from the note with the document on the floppy disk volume drive with the serial number of the directory B with the document, one file C DOS. Directory listing generated with the MS-DOS version 6.0 sets off with a value greater than 999,000. Separated with the data comes from the directory memory check disk or format command. This method of creating a text file quick and convenient with the use of example throughout the book. Displaying with the text file. Because you can read character for the text file, but you can often want to display with the text file with a screen, and even easier to display once for the created, just once for the MS-DOS type of the command to display your file with the type of the C-DOS type, the B note doc, B drive note doc, and MS-DOS displays each line with the return to the command level, and then shows C-DOS the text file with the C-DOS quickest way to see what you want in the file, but probably the type of the command off of the display, but it isn't always helpful because not all files and text files. Not all came readable character saves for yourself. If you have an MS-DOS floppy disk, place with floppy disk with more command and drive A, the type of the CDOS type more command. Yes, the display with the correct with the hard to tell with the jumble with what is in the file because the file contains programs stored with the machine code, note, text, not text. Don't worry about the beep if you hear with the printing in a text file. One of the main reasons with the write with the document, of course, is to have a printing copy. You can print your file with a copy with the printer. You already copied with the keyboard. This not copy with this with the printer. Printed over the MS dot over the printer as PRN. To contain with the printer, return on the type of the following: C-DOS dot copy B don't drive print PRN or print. File is printed with when you print the file, but they probably want with the position of the paper by hand before you enter the command with the printing begin. Will you want on the page? There's an easier way, however, to print the file with the print command. If you're using MS-DOS from floppy disk, you need the floppy disk contained the file with the print command. Remember, the MS-DOS cannot find the file with the display with a message of bad command file name waits for you. Try again when necessary. Remember to check for the MS-DOS disk appropriate command with the file with example here. Assume the MS-DOS can find with the files needed. Carry out the commands to print the file with the print command type with the CDOS print.b drive note doc. If the MS-DOS respond with the way name and list device and print, and then colon, press the enter key with the MS-DOS display with one of both the following message for the print of the file specified. Present part of the print install with the B drive note doc is currently being printed. See that the message explained. More detail in Chapter 5, managing your files. Print command makes for the printer with the device for the next page after printing. Although the file is too short and show will continue to use the system. Do other work while the print command is printing a file. Copying a text file with the copy command with one more versatile MS-DOS commands you already use the create with the print text file with a copy with the command with a duplicate file with a copy file with a note document with another file with a letter document type with the following the C-DOS.copy the B note document as B drive the letter document. When you press enter, MS-DOS copies the file, then acknowledge it, then it allows one copy of C-DOS display with the directory floppy drive disk B drive again layer file with a copy of C-DOS drive directory B drive. Now you have the two text files, volume in the B drive with example of 2, volume serial number, the directory of the B drive, a note and letter documents, and CDOS. If you wanted to use change of the file, one file will continue to have a copy of the original version of the disk you found with the copy command. Quite useful with the several of the files that differ only slightly, while you have several small files that can be combined with a different way to create other files, like often paragraph, for example, that can be combined direct to different letters, contracts, or other documents. Deleting a text file just as getting rid of the paper file, you can rid the disk file with a delete note document from the floppy disk with the drive B. But it says C-DOS delete and B drive note document, and C-DOS goes back to C-DOS. Note check the directory one more time and appear at the top of the next page. C-DOS directory B drive, volume of the B drive, volume serial number, the directory of the letter document, one file C-DOS is gone. Some advanced features, several command feature for the give you the much greater control over the MS stuff. As it works, you can do all the sort of line with the tab with example the alphabetical list for the directory, enter for the directory command, view a long display, one screen full at a time without having to free with the display with the pressing cause with the numeral pause or control numeral lock. Tell MS-DOS to assemble the result of the output command with the printer instead of the display with simply adding with a few characters with the command search line with the tab with the cheer with the characters. Now you'll get a glimpse of the features detail with the detail in later chapters. Short lines of the tab with the properly arranged card file with a list for the sum sequence, some of the alphabetical numerical order, sort of the commands with the short with a range of the inline with the tab with the stuff with the lines of the name. See how this works. Sort with the line with the text file letter document. Type of the file in C-DOS as short B drive letter document letter lesson symbol to tell the MS-DOS send with a copy of the file with the letter document to sort with a command while the display lines the file with the rearranging sorting them into the alphabetical order, and then show the D or Frank January 5th the reminder of the meeting at 9. C drive, although you probably do not want to use sort the line with the letters, you could probably, whenever they put the text file, for example, list for the computer for the customers and employees. Sort of the command is a powerful addition with your computer with the computer tools. Viewing a long display with a one screen at a time, you display with a directory with the chapter 3 with the lines might have scroll off the top of the screen with the cover of the display with it was too long to fit, with the yourself with the free with the display with the pressing pause with the control number line with the pressing the P for /P for parameters, or sorry, /P for the parameter, the directory command, then another way with the top scroll with a more commanded display with one screen with one more, with more at the bottom of the screen with the way with the pressing key with the key with the next screen with the display with the current directory again with the time with the U with the more command with the type of the vertical bar with the holding the shift key, pressing the key labeled with the character, C-DOS directory, and then shift key pressing the key labeled character, parenthesis and more. MS-DOS displays first screen full, last lines arranged displayed, yet not more than less line with the volume serial number of the directory with the C-DOS and the show of the DOS. See the rest of the directory, press any key. The MS-DOS once again displays more at the bottom of the screen. Control break at the end of the command. More commands display long output with a one screen full at a time, give you the chance to view all of the convenience, while one more certain other command with the MS staff with the manipulate the file. You may see with the direct entry with the file with the odd name such as ALCJDEAO or 11060002B or percentage pipe 1 dot and $$$$$$. The temporary file with the MS DOS created with erase that no longer needs them. Sending command output with the printer early example that you printed out with the directory command with you with the print screen. The more direct way of the printing out with the command simply file with the command with a greater than symbol, the name of the printer with the name of the printer PRN. Print the current directory. Make sure that the printer is turned on to this type of this. If you do not want to wait for the whole directory to be printed, with the cancel the printing and pressing with the control break with the same technique with the you with the send out with the command. Some of the other devices file with substituting the device name with the file with the print. If you use the MS-DOS floppy disk, you have start using the command to print a list of the command files with each of the floppy disks of the list useful reference. Finding a series of characters in a file. How many times have you shifted through a pile with letters or no looking for the particular item in the reference? Look for the MS-DOS file with the output with the MS-DOS command. Find with the command with the looking for. For example, suppose you want to go see with the directory and with all the MS-DOS file with the SK in their names. Try with the following with the quotation mark with the MS-DOS with the letters normally characteristically. All the characters stringing with the stringing to look for. If you don't have the hard disk, check for the C with the MS-DOS floppy disk contains the command with the letter SK with the names. Type this and then be sure for the uppercase with characters. When SK C-DOS directory with the define with the SK with the MS display with the entry with the SK with the file. You might list the differ. You have fdisk, check this, disk copy, disk compilation, disk key, the DOS key. C-DOS, define command even more useful to search and series the character for the text of the file with the contain of the list and the name of the telephone numbers. For example, the code with the display particularly all entry for the contain with a particular shape of the character for the and an area code. For example, the design all entry for the do not contain with a particular shape of the character for the chapter 13. Taking control of your system shows you how to create such an automated index text telephone number, but not for the but not MS-DOS commands. Combining feature for the advanced feature for the MS-DOS can also be put together in single command, giving you the more flexibility of the MS-DOS combined with these features make for the possible with a great deal with just one command. For example, suppose you want to print directory entries all file with the current directory with the need for the include with the letter U. Further, you enter the sorted alphabetically in filing. C-DOS directory found with U and sort with the print. The whole command translate with easily look in the directory finds all with the letter U with the name is sort with the alphabetically searches them the result with the print with the C M-DOS that is told as found seen here, and it gives you a list of the letters with U in it. List might differ, but you might see with the name of the temporary file with a size 0, but the files should be sorted alphabetically and more rarely search directories or carefully, but some combination MS-DOS powerful tool handling text files. Alright, chapter summary. The chapter concludes with a portion of the book design, give you the feel of running of the MS-DOS, give you some of the advanced features, the key point with the remembered, include with the computer's memory that is cleared each time with the turn off of the system. Save your work permanently. You must store it on file disk. Test the files contain the ordinary characters. Review the command file contain instruction for the MS-DOS. Review the carry out of the command. The file name of the carry and be up to 8 characters long. You can add an extension up to 3 characters separated with the file name and the period. Each of the file must have a different name with a different extension. Remainder of the book show that you have the MS-DOS to manage your file with the diff of the device for the MS-DOS text editor. Create your own commands. Part 2: Learning to use MS-DOS.